The morning started like any other. Crisp air, coffee warming my hands, and that slow, deliberate walk to my car, the one that comes with having a bad leg, a metal brace, and a squeak that always shows up when the temperature drops. The sun was barely peeking over the maze of roofs in our suburb, light glinting off rows of identical SUVs, like some automotive army. My blue handicap placard hung on the rearview mirror exactly where it needed to be. I never messed with it. When you live under an HOA that fines you for practically existing, you learn quickly not to give them ammunition. But that morning, someone else decided my spot wasn't mine at all. A bright red Corvette, glossy, polished, and smug-looking in that way only certain cars can pull off, sat parked dead center in my clearly marked handicap space. I stared at it for a whole minute, waiting for my brain to connect the dots and conclude this was some weird misunderstanding. Spoiler, it wasn't. I knew that car. I knew that license plate. And I recognized the tacky little high school football decal stuck on the back like a badge of entitlement. Karen's son. Of course. Karen, our self-appointed HOA queen, gatekeeper of community standards, and the same woman who once left a note on my door telling me my wind chimes were audibly disruptive. She lived for moments like this. I snapped a picture of the Corvette, another of the handicap sign. Then I left a polite note under the wiper. This spot is reserved. Please respect accessibility designations. Some of us actually need them. 10 minutes later, I was halfway back to my place when I heard her. That sharp, pitchy voice that could cut glass and ruin your whole mood. Excuse me. Did you leave this note on my son's car? Karen stood there like a general in a floral robe, arms crossed, face already twisted into a preemptive scowl. Yes, I said, calm and even. He parked in a handicapped spot. She scoffed dramatically. He was only there for 5 minutes. You don't own the space. HOA rules don't apply to temporary guests. Handicapped laws apply to everyone, I replied. Her face tightened. You really need to watch your tone with the HOA board, sweetie. We take complaints pretty seriously. The way she said, we sent a chill down my spine. That night, I found an anonymous warning taped to my door. Don't make trouble. This community values harmony. Just like that, the game officially began. The next morning, I woke up to the growl of the same Corvette engine. I peeked through the blinds just in time to watch Ryan, Karen's pride and joy, back halfway out of the handicapped spot, smirk at my window, and pull right back into the same illegal spot like it was some kind of challenge. Subtle. Real subtle. By the time I limped outside, Karen was already positioned with her watering can, pretending to care about her hydrangeas while keeping her eyes locked on me. Morning, I said, tight smile in place. She returned one of her infamous milk-curdling grins. Good morning. Oh, and your little complaint reached the HOA inbox. You must be very committed to following the rules. You're the HOA president. You know parking in a handicapped spot without a permit is illegal, right? Her smile didn't move an inch. It's not illegal if it's brief. And besides, Ryan was visiting me. Technically, I could file a complaint against you for harassment. For pointing out a law? She tapped her temple. Tone. It's all about tone. By noon, the email arrived. Notice of community violation. Apparently my city-issued handicap sign, which had been approved with full documentation, was now under review for compliance. Retaliation. I called the HOA office directly. Luis, the actual admin, sounded exhausted just answering the phone. Sir, yes, we've received a number of complaints from Mrs. Sanders, Karen. But she can't remove city signage. You're fine. Good, I said. Because I'm not moving it. That night, teenagers gathered outside. Ryan and his friends took loud, drunken selfies beside the illegally parked Corvette, beers in hand. Nice sign, dude, one of them yelled, pointing at my handicap placard. My anger didn't explode. It simmered, slow, steady, controlled. A fuse quietly burning. By morning, I'd made a decision. The air had a strange stillness to it, the kind that tells you something is coming. The Corvette was back again. Karen was outside pretending to prune branches that didn't exist, her smirk practically radiating through the bushes. Morning, she's saying. I didn't bother with niceties. Tell your son the law says that's my parking spot. She laughed sharply. You're becoming quite the complainer. Not very neighborly. I smiled. Just very observant. While she held her weekly HOA strategy meeting, translation, gossip and rose, I made a quiet phone call to the city's non-emergency parking enforcement. A woman named Gina listened patiently and said, Yeah, we've gotten a few calls about that address. Someone will be out tomorrow. Perfect. But I wanted more than a fine. I wanted balance. That evening, I placed a small sign beside my spot. Reserved. Illegally parked vehicles will be towed. Not a threat. Just truth. By night, the Corvette came back. Ryan and his drunk buddies knocked my sign over and spit on it. Karen's porch light flicked on. Boys, keep it down, she said lightly. No anger. Just pride. Something inside me clicked. If she wanted to act like the HOA queen, I'd let her. But the universe, or maybe just a tired man with a bad leg, had a lesson ready. I set my alarm for 5:30 a.m. I woke to shouting. The kind that slices through quiet and pulls every curtain open. Who did this? Karen stood in the street, robe flapping, hair wild, looking like a suburban commander surveying the aftermath of a battle gone horribly wrong. Her son's Corvette sat on 4 concrete blocks. No wheels. No tires. Just a humiliated red shell perched awkwardly in my handicap spot. Neighbors stared. Phones out. Someone whispered, Looks like karma clocked in early today. Karen wheeled toward me. You did this. I raised an eyebrow. I did what, exactly? Call the police, she shrieked. Already did, I said, sipping my coffee. About 10 minutes ago. You had my son's car vandalized. You're sick. I shrugged. Considering he's been illegally parked in a handicapped spot for 3 days, it almost feels like the universe got tired of waiting for you to teach him respect. Ryan stood by the car, hands in his hair. This is bull. An officer cut him off, stepping between us. Whose vehicle? He asked. Karen lifted a shaking hand. My son's. The officer nodded. He's parked in a handicapped space without a permit. A long silence. Then, flat and merciless. I'm issuing a citation. And you'll need to call a tow. This can't stay here. Karen's jaw flexed hard enough to crack. As the tow truck backed in, I turned, cane tapping gently on the pavement. Some people need signs, I said quietly. Others need lessons. That night, the neighborhood group chat exploded with photos of the wheel-less Corvette. Memes, jokes, conspiracies, everything. And for the first time in days, my spot sat empty, clean, and unquestionably mine. If you've ever had to stand your ground against someone who thinks rules don't apply to them, hit like. Subscribe to Karen's Hub so you never miss the moment karma finally clocks in. And tell me in the comments, what would you have done if it was your spot on the line?